Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Morgan.
And we're two girls, one hookah. Today we're going to be assembling a hookah. Morgan's going to be putting it together and I'm going to explain to you what the parts are. So today we have a hookah.
It is the Aztec hookah from Pharaoh's Hookah. And then this is what it looks like when you first get it. That's what the box is going to look like depending on the size of the hookah.
This is one here.
Yeah, one is fully assembled right here. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like when we're done.
Okay, so we're going to start with the base. Morgan is going to put some water in it. And the water has a big deal to do with how much smoke you get and how strong it is. So generally do like half of the base full of water.
You want to just make sure too, like, when you put the water in, it should go maybe like a ½ inch to an inch up the down stem, just to, I guess,
well, it's
because if it's too high, then a lot of times what can happen is when you pull it, you'll pull water as well if it's too full, and then if it's not full, I find that it burns the tobacco like way quicker.
Yeah, and this one has got little holes on the bottom, which we had never really seen before, so we're assuming it has something to do with the airflow. So this is
here we have part of the stem, which includes an area where the hose would go. It's also, you can detach it like when you want to wash it. And then this is the valve right here that can adjust the smoke levels pretty much. So
like the airflow.
So if your hookah gets too smoky or you find that like it's starting to feel burnt, you can, adjust this, and it should help. So then what you do, you'll put the down stem into this space right here, and you're going to screw that in. And then once that's screwed in, you can kind of check, like I check this way to make sure I have enough water, which it looks like we're pretty good. You can kind of see where it stops. In this model, not all hookahs are the same, but in this case, we have a screw-on.
Personally, I like the screw-ons because I think the ones that have just like the rubber gauges on them or whatever they're called, they I don't think keep the same air tightness that the screw-on pieces do. Like if you find one that's like screw-on, it's probably better quality. Yeah. And it smokes better.
Usually a lot of like your local stores, they carry the ones that are just like the regular rubber.
Like cushion.
Okay, so now we'll put this on. This is also part of the stem. So pretty much.
So every part is a screw.
Yes. We'll screw this on. And then once we do that, there's a lot of different names for this. I guess I call it the ashtray. I mean, you could call it whatever.
Some people just call it the bowl.
Yeah, so whatever you want to call it. That goes on there, and then it gets secure with this.
And some people call these like seals. It's where the bowl sits on so that there's no airflow that comes out from here, the bottom of the bowl.
And also, depending on like what type of seal you have on there, as far as like the clay heads, you always want to have like a rubber or like grommet piece on there, and it'll make sure like it'll be airtight so nothing can get through.
Except with these.
So yeah, we're using the silicone heads today. I find I like the silicone a lot better because I think it burns the tobacco slower than more with clay.
And it also depends like what type of tobacco you use, because some of the more like natural expensive tobaccos that are like, I guess not more wet, but like the ones that you refrigerate, they need a silicone head because the clay heads are really dry and they dry it out like really quickly and you'll lose the flavor and it'll burn very quickly.
Yeah. So this is the hose, just a basic pink hose. It's like a leather type hose. It just goes in that area where I showed before.
And it's got a seal on it as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, it also has
seal.
a little rubber grommet on there because air can also get out of here, which will affect.
Yeah, if this doesn't have this on here, pretty much you cannot smoke it because the air is just going to come out of the hose valve.
So now we're ready to fill our head. So we have, right now, Fumari, we have red gummy bear. I don't know if you can see it. A lot of people also fill these differently. I've done them with my fingers or like a fork. These packages, I find they're easy to get it out with the tongs. So like I'll use the tongs
they're really skinny.
And then I'll pack it like with my fingers. I like to keep this refrigerated. You know, you don't have to, but I find that it tastes better when it's refrigerated.
It tastes fresher.
Yeah.
To me.
So we'll go ahead.
And we can show you up close how we packed it, because that has a lot to do with the airflow as well.
And you also, like, just from trial and error, I wouldn't call myself an expert, guys. We're learning with you, so, you know, if there's anything or any suggestions you have for us.
Yeah. Or better names for the pieces.
Just let us know. We'll use it. We don't care. We're open to constructive criticism. But by trial and error, in, you know, smoking over time, I kind of played around with how to fill the heads properly because you don't really want to overfill it. I've found that, especially when you're using foil, if you fill it all the way to the top, the tobacco, it's just going to burn right where the coals are. And that's how it starts to taste burnt. Because I was noticing, because I used to pack the tobacco in there like crazy, I was noticing that it would taste like super burnt really fast.
Yeah. It's literally directly touching the foil if it's filled all the way to the top.
So, with that, like, I would empty the hookah and, like, you know, have to switch out the tobacco, and I would be like, none of the tobacco on the bottom would be burnt. So, that definitely has a lot to do with how your hookah smokes. Okay, so I got it packed in there pretty good. I might put a little more in there.
And, like, depending on how you pack it, too, like, how tightly you pack it in the bowl, like, if it's packed too tight, like, it won't, like, pull as well. You won't get a lot of airflow, and it'll just be difficult to smoke. Morgan is the expert.
Yeah, I definitely would not call myself an expert, but I try to learn what I can and research and
any other hookah YouTubers out there, you can comment and give us some tips.
Yes.
We would love that.
Okay. So we got that packed. You can kind of see, you want to make sure it's even all the way around so no areas will burn faster than the other. You want to make sure it's still fluffy, but packed down. So.
Okay, so the next step is the foil. So this is I don't know if you can see it, but it's got the holes in it already when you buy it. And this is just easier to use. Oh, shiny side down. I don't actually know the science behind that, but multiple people have told me that the shiny side of the foil should be down.
And also, for me, the holes, also have a lot to do with how the hookah pulls too. So like, I don't know if you could see too much. You might not be able to really see. But the holes are very, very tiny. So with this, I like to poke more holes in it to let more air get in.
If you're poking them at home with like a knife, like I do sometimes, it can be really big holes, and sometimes it's not good because the coals that are sitting on there will get ash inside the tobacco, and then that's gross. So you definitely shouldn't be inhaling that. So you want to make sure it's tight around the bowl. Again, it has to do with the airflow. It's all about airflow with everything. Okay, so.
So you just put that on there just like that.
Like we said with the silicone heads, you don't need a seal because it's silicone itself, so it's pretty tight on there. So the next step is the coals. Okay, so now we have got the part where we're going to do the coals. So this burner that Morgan has got.
I got this from Mob Hookah. It came with the coals when I had bought my coals from there. This is actually the second time I bought this. I like the coal burners. It's a lot better than using your stove. It's just easier. I find that they don't really have a long life span. They do burn out like fairly, I won't say quickly, but they're not gonna last you like your whole life.
Yeah.
Also, don't be alarmed when you first get it because it's all new. Mine caught on fire, but now it works perfectly fine. So, yeah.
So these are the coals we're using today. They are Fahrenheit 700 degree coconut shell. And I think both of us are into the coconut shell thing.
Yeah. Those are from Mob Hookah as well.
So they look like this.
They're pretty big.
Yeah,
I like them. We would use Coconara coals, but they're fairly smaller in comparison to this.
These
so I find they
longer.
last. Yeah, they last a while. So those are definitely my favorite. We did fall victim to using quick starts. They're terrible for you, but sometimes that's all you have.
And sometimes when you're out, like at places, and you get a hookah at a bar or a club, they use instants because it's really hard to keep up with using this little burner, and you've got 15 hookahs out, and you gotta so sometimes we smoke them when we're out.
But they're worth every penny, so invest in regular.
And they last longer too.
Coconut coals.
Than the instants.
Yes.
So
now we're just gonna get this baby fired up and start smoking.
So guys, we have some exciting news. We got our Facebook up and our Instagram. And I think that's all.
Yeah, we got our new logo, so make sure you go check it out, follow us, give us a little shout out, whatever.
Yeah, and like our videos, and you can share them on Facebook or like them on Instagram. The links are in there, but as well as liking them on YouTube.
Yes.
Following on YouTube, subscribing, whatever it's called.
We're also adding a Q&A segment where you can ask me or Chelsea anything you want to know, from personal to hookah to whatever. We want to keep it as open as possible, so make your questions fun.
Okay, so now we have the coals on there. We got them heated up on our burner, and it's ready to smoke. So Morgan is going to demonstrate. We're using a tip on the hose. And it's just started, so it's gonna start out with not a lot of smoke.
You definitely have to take a few puffs before it gets going. And also, as you're like lighting the coals, you want to make sure they're like completely red. So what I like to do is like halfway, when I see like there's halfway burnt, I like to flip them over to get the other side to make sure they're completely ready to be used.
So it takes a second to get it started though. And the base will fill with smoke. And some people inhale hookah smoke and some people don't. We usually don't.
Yeah,
but
it's not really meant to be inhaled, but people do what they want. Also, the amount of smoke, so we just have 2 coals on there right now, but usually like we like to do about 3, and that will really give you a good amount of smoke.
But it does burn the tobacco faster when you
Yeah.
have more coals, so.
Definitely. You like to put them on the edge, and that way you can like alternate them around to get the spots that haven't previously been burned. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to our hookah assembly video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, go check us out on social media.
Check out our new logo.
Yeah, as well as if you're in the Cleveland area, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah,
tell you all the
guests.
Yeah, we'll get some guests, tell you all the hot spots to go for some hookah in Cleveland. So yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.